If you've been wondering exactly how I studied in nursing school, this video is 100% for you. And if you're not a nursing major, don't worry, because the strategies that I use to pass nursing school are strategies that you can apply to any major. So at the beginning of every semester, one of the things that I always made sure to do was print out my course syllabus, which is going to tell me exactly when my exams are due and when any other projects are also due. The second thing that I always made sure to print out is the course outline. Now, if you've never used your course outline, basically what a course outline is a breakdown of your semester and a breakdown of each of the topics that are going to be covered on each of the exams. So I always made sure that I printed out my course outline because this was basically going to tell me what I needed to know in order to pass my exams. Now, the great thing about living in today's society is that a lot of the professors will give you PowerPoints that already contain all of the notes that you're going to need to study for the exam. I am the oddball, and I never actually printed out any of the PowerPoints while I was in nursing school. The reason for that is that I actually prefer to create my own notes based on the outline that I just showed you. If I take a look at the amount of time that I went to class when I was in nursing school, first semester I went about 75% of the time. Second semester it was about 50%. Third semester, it was about 25% of the time, and my last semester, I think it was about 5% of the time that I actually attended lecture. That strategy might not work for everyone, depending on your learning style, but for me, it definitely worked because I am someone that learns very much via reading and watching videos. So the first thing that I would do when it came down to studying is I made sure that I did the reading for that particular exam. So all of the chapters that I needed to go over and take notes on, that's what I would do. I would read that chapter, and I use a very specific method of reading, which what I've done for you is I've actually created a checklist of the specific reading strategy that I use, and you can get that by clicking the link below, and it'll be delivered right to your mailbox, and you can use it when you're going through your summer classes or when the semester starts in the fall. The second thing that I would do, or after I did the reading, use my strategy of reading, is I would go on YouTube or Google and actually research videos that helped explain any of the topics that I was still kind of iffy on. And thankfully in nursing school, there is this thing that's called simplenursing.com. You can find some free videos, but I used the paid subscription all through nursing school, and it saved me so much time when it came down to reading. If you're in any other science courses, or you're into history, you're a history major, an English major, another great resource is khanacademy.org. Now, after I watched the videos, I actually used a cheat when it came down to taking my notes. I actually bought a NCLEX study prep book that is created by Saunders. This was the book that I used to take all of my notes. The reason why I did that was because it was already broken down for me so that I could focus my attention on actually understanding the material and not so much on taking notes. So I could really hone in on my reading and make sure that I made enough connections to be able to retain the information. Now, in nursing school, I used two strategies for taking notes. For any class that was theory-based, I took all of my notes in an outline format on my computer. For things that were more focused on pathophysiology, signs and symptoms, treatments, what I actually used were my own version of mind maps. And this is a sample of one of my notes. This one is on intracranial pressure. As you can see, I use a lot of color and I do a lot of arrows, just things that make sense for me. There's no right or wrong way to take notes. The key is to create questions based off of your notes, and that's what I did within my mind maps. Now, when it came down to the actual study portion of this whole passing the exam thing, I actually would quiz myself out loud, and I would lecture to my bed in my bedroom. I'd walk around pretending I was the professor, asking myself questions, teaching various topics to see what I actually knew. After I went over that, I applied my knowledge in the same manner that I was going to be tested on when it came down to the exam. So I would do a lot of NCLEX style questions. Now, if you're not a nursing major, the way that you can do this is you can get a study book that corresponds with whatever textbook it is that is required for your class, and that is a way of testing your knowledge. Another thing that you can do is ask the professor for a practice exam. A lot of them will provide that for you. The last thing that I would do, and this was after I did all of the studying on my own, is I would meet with a study group. And I kept mine really small. I only studied with 2 other girls, and I loved my study group in nursing school. And what we would do is we would rapid fire questions to each other to study to see what we actually learned. This was super helpful because at the end of those group study sessions, I knew exactly what I still needed to review when I went back home. And that is my simple strategy for studying in nursing school. Now, I want to hear from you. How many of you use the outline that is provided to you by your professors? I noticed that a lot of nursing students in my school never even printed that out, but it was super helpful for me to understand exactly what I was going to be tested on the exams. So make sure you leave me a comment below. And again, if you want that checklist that explains step by step my exact reading strategy, make sure that you click the link below and it'll be delivered right to your email box. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!